Hey guys, it's Ethan with Terminal.com, and today we're going to talk about password protecting your Linux Dash installation. So this is a follow-up to the post we did on how to install Linux Dash on an Ubuntu operating system, and I'm basically diving into it right from where that post cuts off. So this is the dashboard for the server that we set up, and it's just a basic LAMP server. Haven't done anything to this except for install Git and install Linux Dash. And you can actually see here, if we list the files, this is our web root directory, and you can actually see that the Linux Dash directory is sitting right in there. That's all we've done. And now we're going to talk about what we need to do in order to password protect this. And in order to go through this little tutorial, I'm going to lean pretty heavily on the blog post we wrote on the subject. So there's a great blog post, How to Password Protect Linux Dash. Guys, the blog is an awesome resource. A lot of little code snippets in there that just make work a lot easier. Going to go a lot faster. So let's dive right into it. The first thing we want to do here, and I'm going to do this mostly for beginners. More advanced people will know how to operate on the command line, so you can do virtually any of this from the command line, but we're going to do it using the IDE here. We want to navigate to our vhost files. So we're going to use the file tree. Go to the etc. directory, Apache 2, sites available, and then the 000-default. And this is the one that's active by default. We're going to come over here to the blog post and just grab this code snippet here and paste it just above the closing tag of this virtual host block here. Now what this is going to allow us to do is set up an htaccess file, which in turn will enable us to create the required files for our password protection. So I'll show you that step by step. The next step is to go ahead and create our Linux or our htaccess file. So we've updated the vhost file. Next, we're going to come across over here to the var www html linux dash directory. So this is where we just installed our Linux Dash installation. And I'm going to use the IDE to create this .htaccess file. And again, this is something that people who are familiar with the command line will be very comfortable doing from the command line. But there's kind of a tricky way of doing this if you're not comfortable with the command line. So we're creating what's called a .htaccess file, and that dot in front of the name means that this is going to be a hidden file. So you won't be able to see it inside your file tree, which means you need to use a kind of a unique method for creating it if you're not going to use the command line. Otherwise, you'll be looking around forever trying to figure out where the hell this thing is. So use the open button, just like I showed you there, and then type in .htaccess and click open file. And what this is going to do is it's going to simultaneously create that file and open it. But you'll see here in the file tree, it's still not listed. So the only way to ever access this file in your text editor is by name directly. So you always have to use this open button and then type in .htaccess. Okay. So we're in the .htaccess file, and the next step is, again, we're just going to come over here to the blog post and copy a snippet of code, paste it, and save it. Control S or Command S, depending on what kind of operating system you're using. Okay, so if you take a look at what this does, this basically restricts the files, and it's going to allow us to use the htapassword command to then set a series of credentials for login. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back over here to the command line, and I'm just going to use cd to return to the root directory, and then you want to type in this command, and I'm just going to copy and paste it for speed's sake, but we'll copy this section. So this is going to create a file called .htaccess and populate it with our credentials. But before you hit enter, you need to type in, hit a space, and then type in the name of the user for the credentials that you're creating. So I'm just going to type in root. It will prompt you to create a password. Of course, it won't show it on the screen. That's for security purposes, so make sure you type carefully, and your password's been updated. Now the last thing we need to do is just restart the Apache server. So we'll just do sudo service apache to restart. Okay, and now if we come back over here, this is the perfect. So authentication required. But for those of you who maybe didn't watch the original, I'm going to show you how we access the Linux Dash terminal, or the Linux dashboard. Linux Dash dashboard. Alright, copy and paste the URL for the terminal that you're working in, and then we want to tack on -80 in here, right after the identifier. That's so that we can access port 80, and to the very end we'll append Linux Dash. And you'll see now, before you see anything whatsoever, it'll ask you for your credentials. And go ahead, and there's your dashboard. So, your Linux dashboard is officially password protected. Keeps prying eyes off sensitive information. Pretty easy to do. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to tell us what you think. Comment, like, share, tweet at us. We're at Terminal Cloud. Yeah, until next time.